So I want to talk about Incursion Red River, a new extraction shooter that just released into early access not too long ago. I've already showcased this game quite a few times in some of my videos on my channel. I've had a decent amount of time to fully digest all the currently available content in the game. I have more than enough to give my honest thoughts here on what I think. Now I want to get this out of the way immediately. I don't think this game is going to replace Escape from Tarkov. I think that for a certain portion of the player base, like for example those who play single player Tarkov, I think those types of players would definitely give this game a go, but I doubt they'd make that full transition over to Incursion Red River right now in its current state. I want to start off by talking about Red River's inventory and stash system. Now you'll notice almost right away that the icon quality is very subpar compared to the icon quality of Tarkov, and I know I'm making comparisons to Tarkov, but let's be honest, is there really any other games that are decent, that are extraction tactical shooters that we can compare this to? Not really. But they could definitely upgrade the resolution on the icons here. You'll also notice the in-game hotkeys for quickly looting and equipping items are literally the same as the hotkeys in Tarkov, which makes things very simple for those that are familiar with that. The customization here is extremely bare bones and baseline for firearms. There is no firearm modding menu like you'd see in Tarkov. It would be nice if we could get this in the future, but as of right now, I do not know if this is something they plan to do. Stash boxes are interesting here. So on the right hand side, we've got the option to purchase stash boxes and also upgrade them. Right now, this is like the only big money sink in the game aside from purchasing ammunition and firearms. But if you're surviving nearly every raid, it'll be an absolute breeze to upgrade all of these the stash features here. Also, they don't have the option to repair damaged armor or helmets right now, but they did mention that this would be something that they would add later down the line. We've got a very basic inventory and stash here. It's not awful. It doesn't have a bunch of bugs or issues, anything like that as far as I could tell, so it's not bad. Now, the game offers tasks or missions that you can do while you're in raid. These are super basic mission types. So there's a mission to plant bugs, which are like these little spy microphone GPS tracker thingies. There's also a mission to plant explosives at set objective locations on the map. There's also a mission to plant communication relays, which are also set objective locations. And these locations do change, but it gets very repetitive because you'll notice after a while you're going back and doing literally the same mission again and again. So there's not a lot of variety there, but it does give you something to do while you're inside the raid. They've also got like challenges that you can kind of do on the side. I only did one of these, and essentially all I had to do was grab a bunch of gas canisters. I think I needed 5, and then you sell those in your stash, and it basically just completes it for you, and you collect some rewards. The missions also give you reward and reputation points. These reputation points go towards whatever faction is related to the mission you picked up. If you do cross-faction missions and you complete those, you'll notice that your reputation will go down for the other factions. There are also different tiers for those factions as well, and the goal here is to level them up to the highest tier so you can purchase certain types of firearms, attachments, armor, etc. When I played, it did not take me very long to level up a faction to the fullest. You could literally dedicate a whole evening to these missions and have the ability to purchase almost everything in the game. So hopefully they decide to change things up a little bit as far as the progression goes with the faction system, but it's not bad, and again, it gives you something to do. It's better than just getting money from going through a raid and then just being able to buy whatever you want that's available on the store in game. Talking a little bit about the current gunplay experience, I find that the gunplay is probably the biggest thing this game has going for it in its current state. The firearm quality, the firearm manipulation, the animations are all super high quality and immersive here. There are two things that bother me with the firearms right now. One of them is the textures. They look like they could be upscaled quite a bit. In some lighting conditions, the firearms do look a bit dull, and I'm also not a huge fan of the firearm sway when walking around and moving. It just looks very wobbly, like it sways all over the screen, and it just looks very unnatural and awkward to me. But again, if this game has anything going for it, I would absolutely say it's the firearms and the gunplay. I know one huge topic for so many when it comes to these new early access shooters is the artificial intelligence. The AI in this game is actually pretty good for being what it is in its early stages. It's actually pretty fun to play against. The AI seem to actually run and take cover before engaging you in a gunfight, and this is something we don't even see in Tarkov. And it's incredible to me that a game like Tarkov doesn't even have an AI cover system yet, and we've got Incursion Red River that's $13 on sale, $16 at its regular price, and it has a somewhat immersive and reactive AI already coded into the game. However, with that being said though, the AI still has a long way to go. Just like with most PVE centered tactical shooters these days, you know, it seems like that's always the biggest issue, and it's always the thing that could use a lot of work, right? I think they need to completely revise the AI system, especially since this game is so focused on PvE. Make it so that if you infiltrate a compound and the enemies in that compound are alerted to you, they will all react together as if they're on the same team and they're fighting together as a group. They should make it so that they completely stop patrolling when that occurs, when they're in like this alerted state, right? And they should either push you or try to ambush you, or both. Make it so that it feels like you're in a fight or flight mode when the enemy you just walked up on shoots an unsuppressed firearm at you. Give the AI the ability to flank the player. Give them some immersive combat voice lines that when they're pushing you, they talk to each other during the gunfight. I don't know if you guys remember Fear, First Encounter Assault Recon. Fear had phenomenal artificial intelligence. I want to see that brought back. Their AI back then, the way that it was designed, they would try and flush you out, they would flank you, they would talk to each other when they were in a gunfight. It was so very immersive and realistic. It's crazy that a game that came out such a long time ago has better AI design than even some of the AAA studio quality games we have today. I think that if this game can beat the competition when it comes to AI building, they will definitely steal the market for PvE tactical shooters for sure. Next, I want to quickly talk about the map size. I personally think this is where a lot of players are turned off with Incursion Red River. The map size is super tiny compared to other games of the genre. Not only is the map small, but there's only one map that's available in the game right now. You could literally run to either end of the map within about 5 minutes, I'd say. And for an extraction shooter that is, you know, an extraction shooter that's PvE oriented, that is, I think that's kind of ridiculous. I don't know how difficult it is to create maps, and I'd assume it takes a lot of hard work, especially considering the amount of detail here. And I will say, speaking of detail, there is a lot of high quality detail, a lot of attention to detail. They did a phenomenal job on this, but at the end of the day, most players aren't going to appreciate that enough to ignore the size of the map and the content that's available in front of them. The truth is, there are so many players that are so skeptical about replayability and the gameplay loop. Having a small map really limits the content that's available. It's probably the main reason so many are disinterested in the title at the moment. As far as the graphics go, I think they are okay. And the reason I say they're just okay is because without the lumen lighting option ticked in the graphics menu, this game doesn't look that great. I think it's the textures. I could be wrong, but for a game that is built in UE5, I'd expect a lot better here. And don't get me wrong, the lumen lighting really does carry these graphics significantly. The game looks absolutely incredible at times with certain lighting. Again, though, the textures need upscaling. Something needs to be done here for sure. Also, considering the performance isn't, you know, on the crazy high-end side either. I wasn't necessarily measuring my frame rates during my gameplays, but when you max out all of the graphics options with lumen lighting, there is a massive FPS hit. You can delegate this by kind of turning off volumetric shadows and such like that, but you'd think the performance would be a tad better considering the quality that's provided here. So let's talk about the sound quality. I'm gonna give this game credit where it's due here. The sound quality in this game is immaculate. At first, it wasn't something that really crossed my mind when playing the first time, but I had someone mention it in my chat during a live stream, and I thought, wait a second, you're right. This audio is actually pretty good. The footstep sounds on gravel or grass, walking through shrubs and bushes, reloading your firearm, it's something they for sure got right 100% hands down. I think the only gripe I have with the sound is the footsteps. Sometimes you can't really predict exactly where the steps are coming from, and this is an absolute problem. This is a nuisance. And for those of you that have played Tarkov, you know this. And so I hope they can get that fixed up, but the sound does sound really great in this game. Lastly, I want to bring up mod support. Incursion Red River has full modification support, meaning that you could go on Nexus Mods right now and download mods of your choice and play them both online or offline without any issues. This isn't something you can do in Tarkov, and this isn't something that you can do in Gray Zone Warfare. Well, as far as we know anyway. If Incursion Red River has anything over Tarkov or Gray Zone, it's mod support. This is something I strongly support, and I think it's going to really carry the success of this game. Take Ready or Not for a good example here. One of the reasons Ready or Not is still actively popular is because of the modding community. If it wasn't for the modding community, Ready or Not would not be in the position that it currently is in, and that's an absolute fact. So mod support is extremely important here. I'm actually running mods right now in the gameplay that you're watching, and if you want to check that out, I'll post it down below so you guys can check it out for yourself. But either way, in conclusion here, the gameplay loop is lacking, yes. I couldn't justify spending countless hours with the current state of the game. However, for a game that is just $16, actually $13 now that the sale is still live, I think it's absolutely worth a try if you're a fan of tactical shooters. Anyone who enjoys the idea of a single player version of Escape from Tarkov without all the cheaters, without all the sweaty players that play the game for 10 hours a day, I would absolutely say you need to give Incursion Red River a try. This game is going to remain on my radar. I can't wait to see what they come out with in the near future. I think they're doing a great job so far. Before the end of the video, I've got some Steam keys here for those of you who so kindly made it to the end of the video. Those will be shown on screen now for you guys, so make sure you grab those quick. Enjoy the game. Let me know what you think. Thank you guys so much again, and we will see you in the next video.